Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, pressing on with the Enfield. So I've had some bits arrived, so I'm just going to get on with it. I'm not going to say what bits we'll manage today or how far we'll get or whatever. I'm just going to get on with it and just film little bits. It is, I know a lot of you are saying that you're enjoying the wiring, but I actually find it quite boring. I think it's quite a boring thing to try and film, but we will catch bits. You know, it's coming to the end of the build and it is literally just little bits and bobs that have got to be done just to tie the bike up, sort of thing. So it's not too exciting, but it's all about following the journey of the build, I guess. So we will catch little bits. So I've got to put the eyelets on some of the wires. I've got the bar end indicators here. I've got some brown grips. Now, these grips are going on. I've already discussed this with Dan. This is basically all I could find. There's loads and loads of grips out there. Some of them look truly horrific, proper cheesy. So I've just got some plain ones, and I think what Dan's going to do is going to get some leather stitched round them, or canvas or whatever, I don't know. These are just going on, and like we've discussed, me and Dan have discussed, this bike will be like a hobby to him. He will add his own personal touches to it, like probably little tool rolls and things like that. So we're just getting the basics finished now, and then he can have a mess about. Like I say, it's going to be his little hobby. So they will be going on, but probably changed, or he will wrap them in leather. Right, eyelets. Let's get these on. So we've got obviously the live with the inline fuse going to the live on the battery. Then I've got to make an earth lead up from the battery to the frame, which is all going to happen inside the dummy oil tank onto one of the mounting bolts. I've done it long enough so the battery can be dropped out the dummy oil tank if need be, to do any inspection or maintenance or whatever. So a little short earth lead and the eyelet on there, and then we'll probably get on with connecting all the wires on the ignition. Where am I? I'm here, I'm in the shed. So let's do that first. A little bit of a shrink wrap over there. In fact, we can cut that in half. Don't need it that long. Earth cable made up. That one. Right, that's all ready to go on. What I think I'll do next is extend the wires for these, the bar end indicators, and get them fed through the handlebars. This will be the start of all the wiring at the top of the bike and the headlight area. Bar end indicators in the end of the bars is obviously get a hole in this. So simple way, this is just a bit of copper. You obviously use anything that's harder than the rubber, obviously. Shove it up there. I have sharpened the edge of this. Shove that up there. It's probably much better to do this on a harder surface, unlike what I'm attempting. because everything's falling off my bench. It's about 3. Obviously you'd do that on a harder surface so your bench ain't rattling around everywhere and everything's dropping off. I was just done it here, so it's easy with the camera. So you end up with a neater hole in the end of that, instead of trying to hack it up with a Stanley blade, which never goes right. That'll go through and look nice and neat. Right, moving forward very slightly, not a big jump like last video. I'm now sorting out some of the electrics on the handlebars and slowly thinking it through to make it look as best as I can. So we've got these older style looking switches and I'm trying to get these fitted so everything's nice and tucked in and everything looks its best, and obviously hiding the wires as well. So I am just messing about with this bit of copper tube, and as usual I'm making it up as I go along, but it's to make something look a little bit better. You'll see in a moment. So I'm going to carry on cutting and shaping this, and hopefully, well, I think it should work. We'll find out in a moment. So far, I've just slit a piece out the tube. It's all very, very rough at the moment, but I'm just roughing it out, and then if the idea works, I'll tidy it all up at the end. Right. I've just filed a bit more out. I actually started again, to be fair. The other one was only roughed out very quickly, and obviously the idea is sort of getting made up as I go along. So I've got this. I'm literally cutting it with grinder and using a file to dress things up as I go along. So I've got to do a couple of more cuts and a bit of shaping, and you'll see, hopefully you'll see if it works, what it's going to do. Right, we've done a bit more trimming, and now I want to try and flatten that bit as best as I possibly can. It's not too bad. Right, the next stage, I might actually put a bit of heat in it actually, although it manipulates quite easily, because I want that tab rolling round and going back that way, and then I'll put the radius back in this. Obviously that bottom bit's tried to go flat with me flattening that, but I'll get that back in easy. So I think if I get that like so, oh, it's got it facing down, now it's got to come back this way. When I've done this, you're probably going to think, what's the point in that? I'll trap that in there and just try and roll it round. Do that so it's got a gap. Right, now I'm just going to dress it all up. Right, just bending these ends over now. I've marked them out, literally just getting the pliers on them. He'll get that. Right, I've dressed it up. I've just dabbed it with the polisher to take any sharp edges off. Now, let's go and see if it'll work and just make something look a tiny bit better. That's the plan. But as I think I said earlier, I'm trying to get everything tucked in nice and neat. So we've got to get the indicator switch on here, and obviously the lever. So I've done a cutout on the grip, which, yeah, I could probably leave it like that. But to me, it looks like what it is. I've cut it out. So this little bit we've just done should make it look a bit better finished. Bear with me. Obviously I can probably manipulate that a bit when we get the switch on. I'll just get the switch in place and it'll look more complete then. I've got to extend these wires, but we'll just drop it in place. Obviously the top comes off at the minute because the clamp that clamps it to the handlebars holds all the top on. It's just to give you an idea. Obviously I'm just holding that in place. Ooh, not the camera. So there we go. So it gives you the idea. It just gives it a bit more of a finish, I think, than just the rubber hacked out. Well, I didn't hack it out, I actually dressed it up quite tidy. It's just, I don't know, it was niggling me. It didn't look finished. It looked exactly as it looked. A chunk cut out of the rubber grip. That's it. The switch is out the way enough not to knock it. Dan's only got little hands. And there's enough space in there to drop your thumb in and operate the switch. Right, we got all the wires threaded through for the indicator switch and the bar end indicator. Same sort of principle as I've done with the frame. Put the one wire through first and dragged everything else through with it. although we have got a bit of a tighter bends to negotiate like this one down here, but it still makes it easy having that one wire in there to pull them all through. So this, where are we? These two, I think, yes. I'm just going to rest this in place for now so it's just not dangling around doing nothing, and probably a big chance of damaging it. I'll adjust that so it squeezes in properly for the last time. Yeah, these bar end indicators, they're not expensive, these ones. They are alloy, they're not plastic, because you can get some real nasty plastic ones. But these ain't too bad. I've used these on plenty of builds before and I've never had a problem with them. And they're there but not there, if you know what I mean. They're not big and horrible and in your face. I have had a few people looking round some of the bikes and going, where's the indicators? And then you point to them and it's like they didn't spot them. It probably obviously seems like the in your face now I've pointed them out, but they're not too bad and they are nice and bright. I understand that there's always that argument of will it pass the MOT? Way back we did do a video on MOTs and it's quite amazing what you can get away with. It's like the MOT rules doesn't state 4 indicators. It states the distance they should be apart and visible from back and front, which they are. They're more than the distance apart from what it states, and they are visible from back and front. And you know, same up and down the country, you get different MOT testers. Some of them will just want to rip you apart, and some, well, yeah, some of them pass some terrible things. I get that as well. But the guy I use, you've seen him in the video, is very sensible with his choices, and he certainly wouldn't let nothing dangerous go out of his door with a pass on it. He definitely wouldn't. So yeah, they're good. But it's obviously, I'm not telling anybody to use these. It's entirely up to you. I've got a little dog down here. Come on. Ooh. Hello. What are you doing with Blue again? Where is he? Go on. So yeah, for the price of these, which I believe they're about 20 quid for the pair, they ain't bad at all. They ain't bad at all. Don't get me wrong, you can be spending close to 200 quid on a pair of bar end indicators, but you know, when you're building bikes, you do have to try and keep the cost down a little bit depending on how far you've gone with the rest of the build. So there we go, these are pretty damn good. Right, now I'm going to wire the switch up, get these fed through the bars all the way, clamp the switch up, put the lever on. That's this side done. I'm probably from then on in just going to do little catch-up bits on the wiring. It's very close to being finished, the wiring. I can't really see any point on covering every single little detail. You've seen me put the ends on, you've seen me strip the red bits off to make them horrible red connectors look a bit better. I'm guessing you sort of get the idea how it's all done on these. We've shown you how it passes through the frame. So I'm probably going to sort of call this maybe the last video on the wiring. I may just catch up in little bits. If I'm doing something and think, oh, this might be a good idea to share or whatever, I will then film it. But I'm just going to press on with it after this one. So all the wiring's finished. And I guess we're on the startup. Hopefully that goes well. So yeah, let's get this switch on, get the lever on, and that'll be it for this video. Let's get on with it. Right, like I say, that'll do for the video for today. I am actually going to get my head down on this for the rest of the day and get all the rest of the wiring into that headlight and going off where it should be. If there's anything sort of weird and wonderful that springs up, I will shove the camera on and catch little bits of it. But I think the next main bit for this bike will be startup, and then the very last thing to go on will be the tank. We're getting there, it's very nearly done. Anyway, cheers for watching guys, take care.